Hi students, myself Josephine Elizabeth, Assistant Professor, Department of Forensic Science, School of Allied Health Science, Vinayaga Mission Research Foundation, DU, Salem. So today I am going to take a topic, Introduction of Forensic Toxicology. First, before we starting forensic toxicology, first we have to know what is toxicology. So toxicology is a science dealing with properties, action, toxicity, fatal dose, detection, estimation and interpretation of the result of a toxicological analysis and management of poison. So in this, first they are saying properties. So properties is related to poisons. What are the properties, like their chemical properties, physical properties or any other kind of psychological properties. Next is action, how they affecting in the body, like the action of the poison. So next is toxicity, so at what level it is acting in the body. Next is fatal dose. So fatal dose is nothing but the minimum quantity of a poisonous substance that can cause any kind of harmful effect in the body. Next it's detection and estimation. So in this there are some kind of toxicological analysis method. So by using this analysis method we can identify which kind of poison is present in the body at what quantity. So next it's interpretation of the result of toxicological analysis and management of the poison. So in this, the toxicological analysis. So the toxicological analysis help to identify if a body in a crime there is a body is present. So in that body we get some kind of evidence like poisonous evidence or chemical substance. So we don't know what kind of poison present in that body. So the toxicological analysis we will find which kind of poison accused is used for the death of that person. So it will be help to solve that crime. So next is management of the poison. So in the management of poison we will discuss about the treatment and how to prevent such kind of poisoning in the body. So next is forensic toxicology. So the forensic toxicology is a branch of forensic medicine that deals with medical and legal aspects of the harmful effect of some chemical substance on human being. So in the forensic medicine it's deals with both medical and legal aspects. So in the case of medical they will mainly discuss about how the body is reacting to such poisons and what is the action of that poison in the body. Like when a person is consumed a poison, there is first they will go to their stomach. After that they will absorb through in the blood and the person can cause some kind of harmful effect or kind of even the person can cause a death. So next, the father of forensic toxicology. So the father of forensic toxicology is Matthew Orfila. He proved that the poison can be detected from the body. So next, poison. When the word poison, we will get some kind of crime scene, some poison bottles and all. So what is poison? So poison can be any substance which when body administered in the living body through any route like inhalation, injection, surface absorption will produce ill health or death by its action, which is due to its physical, chemical or physiological properties. So when a body administered such kind of poison through inhalation, so in the case of inhalation like poisonous gas, so the person is inhaling such kind of poisonous gas, they can cause a immediate action in the body. First the inhaling it go through its lungs and after that it will mix up with the blood and give the toxic effect. In the case of ingestion, the person consuming the poison through mouth, maybe it can be accidental or a suicidal. In the case of injection, the person is intentionally taking high dose of some kind of poisons, like not even poison, some kind of drug like cocaine, morphine. So in that cases the person will take high dose of these drugs, can cause poisoning also. Next is surface absorption. So in the case of surface absorption, that is nothing but through skin. The person will place the piece of like a paper and place under the skin in order to get some kind of effect. So these are the poisons. So next, what is the main difference between toxin and a poison? So these words are commonly using in the case of toxicology, but we don't know what is the difference between toxin and a poison. So in the case of toxin, a toxin is a poisonous substance produced naturally by living organisms such as plants, animals, bacteria or fungus, etc. Snake venom of aflatoxin. So the toxin is a substance that is only produced naturally by a living organism, like it can be a plant or an animal or a bacteria. So in the case of plant, example calotropis or datura. So in case of animal, it can be a snake venom, scorpio venom, bee, etc. And bacteria, fungus, it will be a mycotoxin. So next, poison. Poison is any substance that can be synthesized either naturally or synthetic. So it can be made a natural way or synthetic way, like chemicals that can cause harmful or illness or death when introduced in the body. So these are the main difference between toxin and poison. In the case of toxin, it is only produced naturally, and in the case of poison, it can be made either natural or synthetic. So next, dose. So we don't know what is dose. So a medicine, so when we intaking a kind of medicine, in overdose it can be a poison. So a medicine can be a poison depending upon their dosage. A dose is a specific amount of substance, medicine or poison, taken at one time or over a defined period. It determines whether the substance acts as a medicine or a poison. The difference lies in how much it is taken. So a medicine can be a poison based on their difference lies between how much it is intaken. So when a person is taking a medicine for their some kind of disorder or diseases, so a person is taking in a short period of time, he is taking a large quantity of medicine or a dose. So in that case, that medicine can be act in his body as a poison because he is taking a large amount of medicine at that time. According to the amount of drug, the dose is classified into two. One is therapeutical dose, second is toxic dose. So first, therapeutic dose. So in the case of therapeutic dose, the amount of drug that produce is a desired effect without causing harm. So in this, the dosage is a desired effect will be given. And in the case of toxic dose, the amount that produce harmful or undesirable effect. So therapeutical dose is a normal dose or a minimum dose that can use for the treatment purpose, like for diseases, for any kind of other disorders. So in the case of toxic dose, that the medicine will produce some kind of harmful effect in the body because of the high dosage. So next, there are different types of poisoning. So first one, acute poisoning. Effect appear suddenly after the single or short term exposure, example cyanide. So in the case of acute poisoning, it is a sudden effect in the body. So when a person is taking a poison, the effect of that poison will be a sudden, like it will be a short term, like the effect can be shown in his body will be a sudden. Example cyanide. Next is chronic poisoning. So in the case of chronic poisoning occurs due to repeated or continuous exposure over a long time. So the difference is here will be a sudden effect will be shown and here will be a exposure over a long time of period. So the chronic poisoning is nothing but slow poisoning. So in that case, a person is taking a small amount of poison for a long period of time. So in that case, the effect will be shown after a long period of time. Example, lead poisoning or mercury or arsenic poisoning. So these are the metallic poisoning. So first, these kind of poison will enter in the body of a person in a small quantity. After that, for a long period of time, they will start showing effects in that person's body. So next is accidental poisoning. When a person unintentionally takes or comes into contact with a toxic substance. So here the person is taking unintentionally. He don't know whether it is a poison or a normal substance. So in the example, in the case of child drinking kerosene or a bleach, because the child doesn't know that is a poison or not. So the child is accidentally intaking this kind of poisonous substance. So next, suicidal poisoning. When a person intentionally consuming a toxic substance with the purpose of ending their own life. So in this case, the person is taking intentionally. So the person will choose some kind of poison that can be take his life suddenly. So like the poison that shows a sudden reaction in his body, because he don't want to suffer and all, so he will choose deadly poison to ending his own life. So example like cyanide. So cyanide is a kind of poison that can cause a sudden effect in the body. So next one is homicidal poisoning. So in the case of homicidal poisoning is a deliberate administration of poison to another person with the intention to injure or kill. So here a accused will be deliberately administrating the poison in another person's food or drinks. So the victim doesn't know there is a poison present in his drink or water. Without his knowing, he will intake that poison. So in this case, the accused will always choose that kind of poison doesn't have any kind of smell or bitter taste. So the victim didn't identify that there is something wrong with his food or drink. So next, it is an important topic related to poison and drug. The Poisonous Act 1919. So there are some important objectives and purpose for this act, because if we didn't control these kind of poison activities, there can be lead to a serious offenses in the society. So the Poisonous Act is used to control the possession, sale and distribution of poisons. If we didn't control these kind of possession or sale of such poisons, it can be lead to using these poison for the illegal activities. So in order to prevent that, this act is helping. Next is to prevent misuse of poisonous substance for criminal and illegal purposes. So this act help to prevent misuse. So the poison substance can be used for the criminal purposes or any other kind of illegal activity, like some poisonous or chemical substance are using for the adulteration of food. So adulteration of food is nothing but they are mixing some kind of cheap materials like cheap chemical substances or food color into the food substances to make that little cheap, or their expense will be little. So they are adding some kind of materials in there while food producing. Next, to ensure safety in handling, transport and storage of poisons. So in this case, the safety handling is very important, and handling while transporting, because in some cases the toxic gases or poisonous gas they are transporting to for an industrial purpose and so on. In that cases, a small leakage or any damage can cause death to the surrounding peoples. So in that cases, handling these kind of poisonous substances is very important, and we have to take so many safety measures. So next important point is storage of poison. So storage of poison is very important. So same there is some kind of leakage or breakage of this storage container can cause a large destruction or a accidental poisoning. So next is to maintain proper records of persons dealing with poisons. So in this case, if a person is dealing with such poison, it is very important to maintain their records. So why? Because these persons can be sell this poison illegally or black market. So in order to maintain that thing, we have to maintain a proper record of such peoples who dealing with poisons. So the Poison Act is mainly to control, prevent and ensure or maintain proper records of the persons. So next is an important act is NDPS. So NDPS Act 1985, Narcotic Drug and Psychotropic Substances Act. So what is narcotic drug and psychotropic substances? So narcotic drugs are used for the treatment in the cases of psychological disorders like anxiety, depression, bipolar diseases. So in that cases, the narcotic drugs are using. Next is psychotropic substances. Psychotropic substances is similar to this. They are also using for these psychological disorders and also for pain relief. So in the case of surgery, they are using morphine as a painkiller or anesthetic drug. So in some cases, these drugs are abusing, like they are using overdose of these drugs because of this effect. So these drugs can give effect like delirium, illusion, hallucination. So because of these effect, they are using these kind of drugs in a overdose. So in order to prevent these kind of illegal activities, the main object of this act is to prevent misuse and abuse the narcotic and psychotropic substance. So these mainly these narcotic drugs are using for the medicinal purpose and treatment, but they are misusing and abusing such kind of narcotic and psychotropic substances. So this act help to prevent such misuse. Next, to control illegal trafficking and drug trading. So in this, over usage of such narcotic drug can lead to a addiction. So some kind of people take advantage of this addiction and they will illegally trading such drug to the victims. So in order to control illegal trafficking and drug trading. Next, to regulate legitimate medical and scientific use for these substances. Like I said, these kind of drugs are mainly using for treatment and medical purposes. So by this act, these usage of drug only regulated to legitimate medical purpose and scientific use. So next, to punish offenders involved in drug related crime. So this act also mentioning what are the punishment for such offenders who are involved in the drug related crime. There are different kinds of sections and all for the punishment category both in IPC and CRPC. So the IPC, they are defining what are the punishment are given for such kind of drug related crimes. So next, route of poison administration. So this is nothing but how the poison is entering into the body. There are different kind of administration routes are present in the human body. So based on that route of administration, the effect of the poison is really fast or really slow. So first one is injection. Injection is through mouth. The most common route, the poison is swallowed and absorbed through the stomach and intestine. The most common route. So injection is a most common route, like through mouth. So a person is simply or intaking the poison through his mouth, mostly in the case of suicidal poisoning. So here when a person is swallowed, it first go to his mouth and it will mix up with his salivary amylase and all. From that the reaction will be start. After that the poison will be go through the stomach. So in the stomach it will mix up with the gastric juice and all. So it will break down into its toxins. So after that the intestine will absorb these toxins and mix up with the blood. After mixing these poisons in the bloodstream, it will start showing some kind of harmful effect. So example, in the case of cardiac poison, the poison will be first act in the heart. It can be leads to cardiac arrest and all. So in some cases there is a neurotoxin. So neurotoxin mostly affect the brain system or neurosystem and leads to a paralysis or even if death of the person. So there is another is respiratory poison, like poisonous gas. So the poisonous gas mainly affect to the lungs and mix up with the bloodstream, and for example carbon monoxide, it will bind the oxygen site of the hemoglobin and lead to a poison. So example, overdosing an oral medication, drinking household cleaning product, example like bleach, drain cleaner, or consume contaminated food. So in the case of contaminated food, there is a chance of presence of bad bacteria or fungus. So these bad bacteria or fungus made some kind of mycotoxin. So these mycotoxin are harmful to the human body. So while we consuming a contaminated food can lead to a food poisoning. So next, inhalation. So inhalation is nothing but breathing. The poison enters the body through the lungs via gases, vapor or fine dust. Particle, it gets absorbed quickly into the bloodstream. So these example CO2 like carbon monoxide. So the carbon monoxide is mainly out from AC or some kind of machines and all. So these carbon monoxide enter in our body and reacted with our hemoglobin and change it to a toxin substance. Similarly in chlorine gas or a toxic fume from the industrial chemicals. So in the chemical industry there are many types of toxin substances are present, because the chemical reaction, due to that chemical reaction there is a chance of producing large quantity of toxic fumes. So these toxic fumes should be disposed in a proper manner or following a proper protocol. So there is something, a failure can cause a large destruction like accidental poisoning to both laborers and surrounding environment. So handling this kind of toxic fume is really important. So here the inhalation through, first it will enter to the body through lungs. So next, dermal or topial, like nothing but through skin. So in this case, the poison is placed on the skin and absorbed through the outer layer. This route is effective for lipid soluble chemicals. So in this case, when a poison is come contact with the skin, it can make some kind of irritation or itching sensation, but only it will change to as a poisoning substance when it will be a lipid soluble chemical. So the lipid soluble chemical like fat soluble, it will easily absorb to our body because the body contains fat. So these kind of chemical easily absorb through the body. But in case of other than lipid soluble chemicals, it will just make a skin irritation or redness in the outer layer of the skin. Doesn't make any intense harmful effect on the body. So example, exposure to certain pesticides like organophosphates or nerve agents, or absorbing poison like nicotine through patches. So in the case of pesticides, they are largely using in the sector of farming. So they are simply spraying these kind of pesticides in the vegetable or other kind of plants. So in that case, there is a chance of exposure of certain pesticide in our body while we using these pesticides in the farm. First we have to wear a proper protective measures like PPE kit or any other kind of protective cloth we have to use. Next is injection. So this is the most effective way. The poison is delivered directly into the bloodstream, like both intravenously or muscle. The drug is directly injecting to the veins. Next is muscle, intramuscular or under the skin. So these are the three types of injection method. We can inject direct to the veins or muscle or through or the outer layer of the skin. This is the fastest route of the bloodstream. So this is the fastest route because we are directly injecting such kind of drug or poison through veins. For example, illicit drug overdose like heroin. Heroin can make some kind of psychological effect like delirium or hallucination. So because of these effect, the people are get addicting to this kind of drugs. So basically the heroin is using for painkiller or anesthetic drug in the medical field, but this effect are attracting the people and making an addiction for this drug. So the people are taking overdose of these heroin or other kind of drugs. The intentional use of venom or highly concentrated liquid toxin via a syringe, or some kind of people are using venoms for their effect also. So the small dosage of venom can cause as the similar effect like delirium or hallucination. So some people are using such kind of venoms like snake venom or bee, scorpion venom for their enjoyment purpose, or highly concentrated liquid toxin via in syringe. So in that cases it is nothing but homicidal case. So a person is accused want to kill a person very fast and effective. So he is choosing such kind of highly poisonous substance and directly injecting to his veins. So the person will death faster. Thank you students for listening.